Okay, so I wanted to do a video basically clearing up a few things. Some people thought because I support divested zealot, that means that I support I talk about black men by calling them grapes and um, the N-word, and someone said some other terms that people have used derogatorily about black men. Um, I don't use that. I usually just reference black men as black men. You know, there's no other real term I use for black men. Sometimes I call them dark skinned black men to give them a description more. But yeah, I have called people apes on this channel. I've called men apes. And I think kind of people in general apes. But it wasn't anyone black that I've called an ape, male or female, you know. That's just not what I do. I don't believe in that, especially since, let's get factual here. Black people don't have any ape DNA. You know, every other race does, but black people don't. So it kind of irks me to actually use that. I would never use the term ape to describe a black person, considering black people are the only ones who do not have ape DNA. When I say that, I mean Neanderthal blood. And not just Neanderthal blood, there's plenty of other subhuman species as well, in other types of races. So, I mean, I would never call a black person an ape. That's just not my thing. Now, that other people do, it doesn't bother me personally. It's just like they use it, I don't use it. I don't really care. It's not really a big issue to me. People who were so obsessed with the fact that divested zealot uses certain names and calls black men different names, that they can't even pay attention to her actual message. It's like they're so hurt, like their feelings are so hurt because they identify so closely with black men that they're mad because of the name that black men are called on there. I hardly even pay attention to that name being used. You know, I was just watching Karen Truth and I wasn't even paying attention, but she was using that word and I wasn't even paying attention to the fact that she was for a while. For me, it's just like kind of like, yeah, she uses that word, but I mean, like, I don't, and I don't really care. I understand what she's talking about, so let's just get back to the topic at hand. Usually, they're not even talking about black men, you know, on that channel. I'm talking about Karen Truth. Um, and on Divested Zealot, you know, her message, it appears her message is more so to black women, not really black men. Her message is to stay away from black men and to have safety as your main prerequisite and main priority, you know. She doesn't say that white men are better than black men like that. I don't mean that. I mean that white men are always better than black men. That's what I'm trying to say. She says that there's white smoke. So that implies that she doesn't say that white men are all good. And I mean, I agree with that. I like that. I like that she acknowledges that there is white smoke, because that's acknowledging that, you know, there's a lot of black women who are what I call swirlers. Some people don't want to call it swirlers. I don't know. But people who are only interracially dating, but they do not they have issues with leveling up basically and not choosing white smoke basically. And she made a video on specifically black women who were swirlers. And when she made that video, it was not about rainbow swirlers. It wasn't about black women who date black men and white men. It was about black women who date white smoke. So that's why I kind of find it a little odd. Some people try to act like swirlers are women who date black men, but they don't, because, like I said, some people depict black women who date white smoke. And I think for some people, I've kind of come across this and talked about this a bit. Some people think that when you date white smoke, that means that you date black men too, because white smoke, to someone who is an ex-mammy, people like that who are ex-mammies think of it this way. They're attracted to black men on a physical level. That's why they were an ex-mammy or someone who was open to dating black men at one point, because they were attracted to them. So their differentiation between black men and white men is different from like a swirler like me, for example, because their differentiation is behavior. So they see black men as having a behavior that is incompatible with their lifestyle and what they want in their life, be it safety, stability, providing, so forth, As a partner, they don't feel that they are viable. But people like me and people who are just not attracted to black men are just not attracted to black men, That is more along the lines of a swirler. A swirler is someone who basically is not attracted to black men on a physical level and would never be with a black man. But the reason they're not with black men is not a behavioral issue. That's why they can still date the white smoke. You would think, some people, I think they think that because they can date the white smoke, that means they can date dusty black men because they both have the same behaviors. But if it's not because of a behavior and it's actually because you're just not physically attracted to black men, then they're not going to be an option. And it's only going to be white men. So I did really appreciate that divested zealot did talk about swirling mammies in the past and swirlers, things like that, because it kind of like pointed out how white men are not always a good option. It depends on the white man. Not all white men are smokeless. Some are smokeful. Many are, many are smoke, are white smoke, and you should avoid them. So I like that about her, and it shows you that she's not. Oh, sorry about that. I had an update. But it shows that she is not one who is trying to worship white men. People always think that you are worshiping white men simply because you're not attracted to black men, sorry. Because they aren't attracted to white men and they're only attracted to black men. And that's the thing. For me, it's like this. If you paid attention to Divested Zealot's channel and what she says, she is not one who is not into black men based off of behavior, it doesn't seem. It seems like she's naturally just not attracted to them. Like she said, she's never been with one and she's never desired to be with them. So, to me, it's like there's a lot of different aspects to not being attracted to black men in the first place. It can create a situation where everything is kind of in a hostile sense towards people who simply just don't have an attraction to black men. And to me, I think, honestly, what's more extreme is the whole thing where people act like something is wrong or you're hateful towards black men simply by having a message that specifically says you should not choose black men. That's all her message is do not choose black men. Now, that is a message that a lot of black women can't get along with. But you have to understand that there are plenty of black women who already live that life. There are plenty of black women who will never be attracted to a black man for whatever reason it is. And, personally for me, as I guess a non-leveled up, divested black woman, I kind of see it like I don't see how her message is an extreme message or a bad message for someone like myself who is not into black men in the first place and never will be. She's not saying get pregnant by black men and abort their male children. She's not saying any of that crazy stuff. That's extreme, She's not saying that, hate and have contempt for black men, yet seek out black men to date and marry and make life a living hell because you're with someone who you hate and they are going to live a living hell because they're with someone that hates them. Um, she's not saying that. She's saying get away from the black man. Get away from him. Okay? And I know, like I said, a lot of black women can't do that. Even the ones who are, swirlers, who are like rainbow swirlers, for example, the ones who date black men, they can't even get away from them. And it bothers them that she says that. But I don't understand this. This is what makes me feel like rainbow swirlers are basically like mammies. Because why does it bother you so much for people to say not to date black men, but it doesn't bother you when black love advocates say don't date out of your race and only date black men, don't date non-black men? To me, it's like it's the same thing, just a different individual that you're saying not to be with, don't date, don't have a relationship with, don't marry, To me, I just don't understand that. I don't understand why it's so offensive to be fully divested. Why is that such an issue for some people that are rainbow swirlers and who are mammies? I'm one who's like, I'm never going to be interested in a black man. And it doesn't bother me that other people will always be interested in a black man. That's their life, their body, their choice. What I don't like is like extremities where people are trying to basically breed hate, where they are basically trying to say they want to be with black men and hate black men and destroy black men from within and destroy themselves and destroy their children, figuratively and literally, because they hate black men. Now, that is just a warped, crazy mindset, and I don't understand individuals like that. That's a really hardened, used up mammy's mentality. Honestly, that's why Cynthia G has that kind of mentality. But divested zealot doesn't have anything extreme like that. The only thing people can say that she has extreme is that she uses certain language that makes people uncomfortable. But other than that, she doesn't really have anything extreme.